Relationship always implies some kind of exchange, minimally an exchange of air, and in many cases emotions, fluids, and other substances. Generally speaking, people enter relationships because there is a promise of some of their needs being met through the interaction with another. As is commonly accepted in modern astrology, and as McCauley reminds us in a Jungian approach to astrological counseling, if the birth chart reflects what's in the air at the time we were born, then we can conceivably view the chart as a reflection of the atmosphere of the home at the time of birth. From that, it's reasonable to start an exploration of the birth chart by identifying information about the person's parents. The chart shows us the psychological disposition of the mother and the father, both individually and as a couple. Ptolemy in Tetrabiblos tells us, in conformity with nature, the Sun and Saturn are allotted to the person of the father, and the Moon and Venus to that of the mother, and the mode in which these luminaries and planets may be found, with reference to each other, as well as to other planets and stars, will give us the situation of life's affairs affecting the parents. He goes on to say that if the nativity be diurnal, that is, daytime, with the sun above the horizon in the chart, for the father, observe the degree of the sun in the child's nativity and make that degree ascending for the father, and comfortable to that, order the cusps of all the other houses. So, if the sun is in Gemini, for example, regardless of the degree, you put all of Gemini as the first house, all of Cancer as the second house, all of Leo as the third house, and so on around the chart, and then you insert the natal planets. You can pretty well do this just by turning a printed out chart. In a day chart for the mother, we use Venus. The same method, only this time taking the sign that Venus is in and putting that as the first house. In this case, think of Venus in Aries. We would put Aries on the first house, Taurus on the second, Gemini on the third, etc. But if the nativity is nocturnal, a nighttime birth with the sun below the horizon of the chart, for the father take the place of Saturn, and for the mother that of the moon. So in a nighttime chart, you take the sign of Saturn that Saturn is in and put that on the ascendant and make it the first house. And for the mother, you take the sign that the moon is in and make that the first house. Well, let's see how this might work in a modern chart. This is the chart of Marilyn Monroe, born June 1st, 1926, 9:30 a.m. Pacific Standard Time, Los Angeles, California. It's rod and rating AA, meaning that the information came from the birth certificate. With the sun above the horizon, Marilyn has a diurnal nativity. So we'll look at the sun for the father and Venus for the mother. Turning the chart so the sun's place is now the first place, or first house, we can easily note a few things about her father. Probably the most significant is that Saturn is now in the sixth, so the father is literally withheld or absent from her day-to-day life. And indeed, Monroe never knew her father. She actually did go looking for him and was said to have sought him out in some of her partnerships, choosing men as partners, particularly later in life, who were either older or more established than she was, or both. Turning the chart so Venus is in the first place, and thinking about the mother, we can see that both the malefics, Saturn and Mars, are in evil places. Evil places traditionally were the 3rd, 6th, 8th, and 12th. So Saturn, with Venus in the first house, Saturn is in the 8th, and Mars is in the 12th. Marilyn's mother was extremely mentally ill and was institutionalized when Marilyn was small. This resulted in her being placed in numerous foster homes and actually undergoing quite a bit of abuse during her childhood. It must have been terribly difficult emotionally for Marilyn, even in her later years, when by progression, direction, or transit, either her Sun or Venus was activated.